For her, though.
Oh, bacon.
Bullet magnet! Well, you know what? Screw you, pal! Because I'm not getting shot this often.
Janice?
Yes, Mr. Jeffries?
Can you send up janitorial? They might need a bucket.
In a world of bonds between friends that are stronger than steel, brothers in arms who become a real family as they fight and fight for their lives, decades on end just to make it one more day, there's only one family of soldiers properly displayed in action. For the world of Sarah, military families are incredibly common. The Santiagos, the Phoenixes, the Strouds, but the one we see the most are also some of the most popular among the fan base, the Carmines.
Oh, geez, sorry.
A long list of roughly 4 brothers, an uncle, 1 black sheep assumed to be a cousin, and a niece. But with this extensive list of familial gears, we have a reoccurring deaths of just about each and every single one of them. So what makes the Carmine so conscientious in the modern age of Gears of War, with a history of characters leading back to the 2nd level in the very first game all the way back in 2006, and appearing in every major iteration with the exclusion of tactics and judgment?
Hey, are you the Marcus Phoenix? The one who fought at Asfield Fields?
Yep.
Wow, cool!
If it was unclear and you've not heard this bit of trivia before, the Carmine family gets their name by the color of the same name. Carmine is a shade of red. Red soldiers, red shirts. A reference back to the original Star Trek, which dressed many officers who were unimportant to the plot and free to be killed off in order to make the enemy more of a threat, in this same color. Now technically all these guys are red shirts too, but the Carmine's name is just a meta in-joke on the terminology, like if we renamed Princess Peach to Princess MacGuffin.
Oh my god.
And like the origin of red shirts in Star Trek suggests, all but 1 Carmines are lost in the line of combat. The Carmine family is a bit ambiguous. We have 4 brothers, 3 of them named. We know this because of Benjamin, as he describes in Gears of War 2. Clayton the oldest, Benjamin the youngest, and Anthony somewhere in the middle. Away from there, we have Gary, who has no confirmed relationship to the family but broke the mold of their military history. William, an uncle to the first 3 brothers, Lizzie, a niece to Clayton, and assumedly the daughter of the unnamed 4th brother.
I took care of it. DBs, we gotta secure this street!
Each Carmine with their own set of personalities. Anthony, who's a history buff, Benjamin, who wants to prove himself as a hero like his oldest brother, Clayton, who takes out all of his aggression and vengeance on the Locust, being named the Grub Killer in exchange. Gary is a literal outsider who looks up to Clayton, down to copying his title. And Elizabeth, who works with cars as a mechanic and driver for the new cog. William, as far as we know, was just a regular gear on the verge of retirement. We don't know too much about him other than he's the only Carmine whose face we've actually seen, and he was probably Rom's first human kill. As far as their place in the story, each Carmine was given less and less purpose as they went on. Anthony is only used to give the slightest backstory on Marcus and to show how gears are lost in the line of duty, while reinforcing the stay and cover or die attitude of the original trilogy. Benjamin has a larger arc from being a green as grass recruit who looks up to all these legends like Clayton, Ty, and Marcus before his own hubris and ache to be a hero trumps his decision making, leading to his death inside the Rift Worm. He shows us why being a reserved soldier, not a hero, does someone well, and is a lesson that is reused twice later in the series to much more diminishing returns. The first example of this was in Kilo Squad, who basically ran into no issues when they go off the rails, and the second being James Phoenix getting civilians and a friend killed for the sake of the same, but never learning from that experience. Clayton serves as another strong-headed gear, someone who gets the job done, and a reflection of families and people in Sarah that have survived the Locust and take their vengeance out on the grubs. But from here outward, the Carmines show up only for the reason of they're popular. Gary has no purpose in Gears of War 4 other than a literal, hey look, it's Carmine, and he is discarded just as quickly as the fake Carmines from the old life insurance ad.
Ignatius Carmine died in a tragic game of torque bow tag.
Ha ha, you got me!
Who plays torque bow tag? Huh?
In the most recent Carmine, Lizzie is introduced briefly and, as mentioned, is killed as a result of a hero going off the rails. She's not given to the story to say, hey look, a Carmine, but is still kind of wasted as no other character, even Clayton, refuses to acknowledge that her death, caused by JD, even happened. At the end of the day, Gary could be removed to literally no change in Gears 4, and Lizzie being removed would only change the brief interaction that she has with Clayton. But after her death, it almost feels as if she might not have ever existed to begin with, in contrast to voice lines from Clayton and Benjamin in previous games that pay tribute to their fallen brothers, making them feel like a real family within the universe. Characters and stories as a whole, and Gears of War especially, are often killed to prove a point in the story. This can sometimes be referred to as the Worf effect, another element coined by Star Trek where a character is built up as a badass and then killed in order to prove the danger of your enemy. This is exactly what happened to Ty, and to a lesser extent, Min at the beginning of Gears 1. The Carmines are definitely more of a name and metaphorical face to attach to the rank and file of the cog soldier, to get one attached while showing how the war affects those not guarded by plot armor, but their use in the story ends up being repetitive. Even just after the second use, the Carmines had almost run dry as far as their gimmick. When comedy comes in threes and Clayton's death was on the line for all of Gears of War 3, every other Carmine that comes after serves exclusively to pay tribute to the family curse, and it makes the Carmine family themselves weaker and fragile in the story rather than building Sarah up as a grueling, brutal world where anyone can die at any time. A good example of making death feel apparent would be Sean in Red Dead Redemption 2. It comes from nowhere, it's unexpected, and it hits hard. It feels realistic while pulling you in. Doing the exact opposite of Gears, where now, as every new character with a covered face and a family name is written off with a death sentence as soon as they're introduced. Gary? He's a Carmine. Dead. Lizzie? Carmine? Dead. Whichever Carmine they'll have in Gears of War 6, I'll bet you $20 they die by the end of Act 2.
It's a bunch of irresponsible, idiotic Yahoo rednecks.
Whoa, okay, Dr. Phil.
Good day, Mr. Carmine.
Where once they may have served as the face of the ironically faceless Gears who will die again and again to no avail, much like our faceless Gears in the prologue of Gears of War 4, when the Carmines are the only ones dying, they become a joke imitation of themselves, rather than a unique idea playing upon that concept.
Alright, fine. You know what? The Better Business Bureau is going to be hearing from me, pal. Because this is the worst I've ever been treated, alright, man? You're acting like I'm some kind of bullet magnet.
Nice!
Gears die all day long. Massacres all over are not unheard of as they fight tooth and nail against the UIR, the Locust, the Lambent, and the Swarm to cling onto life in a world struggling to maintain humanity. But the Carmines once used to make a point within the series and give us a lovable set of brothers who most, if not all, of the friends and families that might play these games can understand, have become nothing than a pale imitation of themselves, just as every other aspect of the series basically has. As the Coalition and Xbox cling onto this legacy franchise from the 360 era, each and every character, storyline, and action of the universe only works to undo itself at the seams, while leaving the fanbase in the dark with nothing but the past to look towards. Hopefully they can come to a place where the Carmines are no longer just a joke of the lowest caliber to trick people into thinking it's the same as the old games, but uses these characters to better explore such loss in a large family unit. But the same thing is almost all but ignored between Marcus and JD, so I wouldn't get my hopes up. Hello, thank you very much for watching. I know this one is shorter, but that's what I'm here to ask. If you like these smaller 10-minute or so little deep dives into specific characters, things, shit like that, let me know. Or if you just prefer the longer 25 half an hour full retrospective on something like that Gears of War 2 video, leave it in the comments below. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you really feel like it. Otherwise, stay cool, have fun, be awesome. And I'll see you in 7 rotations.
To the right. What's up, ladies? Gonna freak you on. Stay cool, baby. Man, that was nasty.